And then he sent me the link on Twitter. Yay, sounds there.
We ready?
Yep.
All right, for sure. What's up, y'all? Good morning if you're in the West Coast. Good afternoon in the East, and good evening or so, whatever, wherever you are. This is the current. Oh man, welcome back to the current episode. Something.
It says 20, but I think it's 21.
Gotcha. We're in the 20s now. Episode Young Maturity. No, yeah, today's gonna be a good episode of The Current. If you guys have never been here for The Current, what we do here is we like to dive into the ocean of the industry that is the acting industry, the dancing industry, the overall entertainment industry. Whether it's K-pop, K-drama, or it's something about someone's kids, or it's about new laws and new rights within the industry itself. We try to keep a current understanding of what's happening. It gets weird out here, and so we're just trying to stay up to date. So that being said, today, I guess the main and only topic, and I guess the topic we're going to be stemming from in a general sense, is going to be the Oscars.
We will rock you. That's what I named it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, the Oscars, We Will Rock You. The Chris Rock, Will Smith
debacle situation, event.
Team.
And it's only just because like we've been talking a lot about it the past few days, and then just the conversations that it brought up, we were like, yeah, we just want to kind of talk about it publicly with that.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll start off. I will say for me personally, I don't give a fuck about the slap. It happened. Both sides were not right. I do not agree with either side. I think, we've talked about how Chris Rock, he does have, or we just assume because of who he is, he has enough influence because of his career that he could have said no to that joke. Or, being somebody who is an actor / comedian, he could have been quick on his feet and come up with something to kind of like defend what he said to not be a jab at Jada's alopecia. For example...
Whether he knew about it or not.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression that he did not know about it.
Either way, you're an actor, you're a comedian. It would have been nice for you to like add something in there that showed that you were actually talking about G.I. Jane and not her thing. Because nobody knows your true intentions until you explain them. So that would have been nice, and then Will did not have to go up and slap him. He could have waited until later on when they had seen each other or whatever to plead his case and, let him know like, hey, that was not okay. Jada has alopecia. I did not like that, and it did hurt her, so I would appreciate if, the jokes could not be towards something like that. But also, my biggest issue with this whole thing is how quickly black people have turned on their own. And I do not like seeing that because, with all the issues that have happened with racism and all that stuff, you think that black people would be more supportive toward their own, but it for me, it's proving that with this situation, you're not really for somebody that you claim to be as a hero for y'all. I don't really like it. So that was the conversation I had this morning with somebody. And yeah.
So I think as far as discussion wise, we should at the very least go through step by step to make it easier, because we have lots of comments and opinions on every basically second that happened throughout the thing. So I think if we just go through the entirety of what happened, stop to make comments on each part that happened, and then talk about the overall, like you said, the overall after effects of what this can and will cause in society as a whole and who it will affect. So starting off with it, the joke was actually made. Right? News is coming out. Chris Rock didn't write the joke. Staff writers wrote the joke. So with that in mind, but the joke was made. Will and other audience members laughed. Jada's face had an obvious sign of displeasement with the eye roll heard around the world.
Not heard. Wow.
Like the roll caused earthquakes. Just then the camera pans away, but other sources say that Will had said chill to Chris Rock. And then that's when we see on camera Chris Rock saying, "What? That was a good joke." And then he says, "Uh-oh, King Richard." And then you see Will walk up to the stage, smack the bejesus out of him. He took it like a champ.
Yeah.
Like,
he
ate that slap. He was just like, wow. And then, you know, you hear the Will saying, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth" twice. And then he's like, "I will." And then so it's that. So starting off with the joke, any comments?
Well, basically what I already said, like, what I was saying, because you guys didn't hear this yet, and I haven't posted anything because I don't care to, but I believe that as entertainers, it is our responsibility, or it is something that we should consider to adapt to the times or grow with the times. And right now, it is cancel culture, like freedom, like everybody loves to cancel everybody right now. And I feel like it is important to keep in mind the decisions that you make or things that you are willing to say yes to or willing to do, how it can affect others. And if you're willing and, you know, you can take those consequences, whatever. But if you're not ready to handle those consequences, you should not be just doing things for the sake of doing, because you do have an influence and people are getting canceled left and right, and it's taking nothing but word of mouth. Absolutely nothing. You say the wrong thing on the internet, you say the wrong thing on TV, and your whole career is fucked. Everything that you've worked for, fucked. Like, you have got to be careful. And same thing with Will's actions. He did not have to go that far, but he did. And now people are bashing him for it. So, yeah, I just think you gotta be careful, especially as somebody in the limelight. Every action that you, although we are human, but, you know, I even feel like as regular human people, you know, just like living their day-to-day 9 to 5, you still should also be considerate of others as well when you do things and say things. But the limelight, the spotlight, cameras are not on you, so you don't get ridiculed as much, and the world doesn't have this, like, I don't know, pressure on you, and all eyes are on you and all that stuff. So you get to make your mistakes in quiet.
Like, with me, when thinking about the joke specifically, I, not taking in any other matters or influence, I would initially be like, you know, what's the issue? Because the presenters, and they had 3 of them this year, the presenters are, you know, usually comedians or comedic actors, and they'll poke fun at the audience for the various things, whether what they're wearing. It's crowd work. Right. It's, you know, they do typical crowd work, making fun of what they're wearing, you know, making fun of a recent event that happened to them in the news, poking fun at it. That's what comedians do. And the writers of the show will do that. They'll figure out, like, what's something that, you know, they've been in, blah, 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 stuff like that. And I don't believe that the G.I. Jane bit was written in reference to her autoimmune disorder. I think it was written in reference to she cut the latest hairstyle that she had was a short cut. Being in entertainment, when I see a female with a short haircut, regardless of why her hair is that length, I think G.I. Jane or V for Vendetta. Those are the 2 things that I'm going, those are the 2 things that's in my head. I was at a rental car place the other day, and the lady behind the counter had 2 long pigtails with bows on it, and I'm just like, oh, what's up? Oops, I did it again. And that's what I called her. And come to find out, they were actually having a celebrity look-alike day, and that's exactly who she was trying to look like. So nailed it. So I don't think that the joke or the reference was made because people are just like, oh, Chris Rock made an alopecia joke. No, he made a woman with short hair joke. Mm-hmm. She just happens to have alopecia, because had he made that joke toward Tiffany Haddish, no one would have an issue. No one will be saying, oh, he's an ableist, or he's a sexist, or he's making fun of her, or anything like that. No, it wouldn't be an issue. It's merely just because she happens to have alopecia, and it's, obviously still tender about it, that it even became an issue. Because if he made that joke to anyone else that had short-cut hair, no one would have said anything. So about the joke specifically, there was nothing wrong with the joke. Mm-hmm. It was just the circumstances under which the joke was made. Yeah. So that's about the joke specifically. Those are my thoughts on it. Do you have any?
I'm a firm believer of, with all due respect, that when it comes to the Oscars, as an ethnic presenter, there's not a lot of room for you to be writing your own jokes or writing anything for yourself. I believe people give you the script and they tell you what to say and what to do. Mm-hmm. So that being said, someone, either whether they knew she was going to be there or not, I feel like someone wrote it in, but to be honest, that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? The joke was said, you know what I'm saying, as it was said previously, hit a tender spot. I do believe that's what happened in that section, or in that particular portion of the night. But yeah, I personally didn't have an issue with the whole thing. I personally thought it was like a movie role stab. He was like saying G.I. Jane. Obviously she had a shortcut, but it was like kind of like something like she wanted to do the role or something for G.I. Jane too. That's what I was taking it as at first. Before looking into it. Like my first initial thing was like he's bringing up like something about her career, not something about like, her alopecia, you know what I'm saying? And then like, again, getting into the research of it, I was just like, it seems kind of far-fetched for Chris Rock, who is not like knowingly upset at either one of them. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's fake Hollywood BS, whatever. Chris Rock, as far as I know, as far as I've been told, I've been told, isn't knowingly upset at either one of them. So that would seem like a very personal jab, or very like, I'm really gonna jab you like this in front of everybody. Like that's something you do when you know people, when it's a personal thing.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd have to know that you're going through this. I'd have to know what it is, and I'd have
to know that you're okay with it.
And you're right here in front of me too.
Right.
So I feel like it'd be like, oh, this is perfect time. You thought you were gonna get away with it? Bow. Like it didn't seem like that's what was going on to me. So at least as far as the joke goes.
Right.
Right. It's like it seems like everyone seems to be commenting like he did this with ill will intent. Like, and I'm just like, does that even make sense? And I'm just like, look. Not since Ricky Gervais on the Golden Globes has people been this upset. But anyway, so that's with the joke in general. So I would say the initial reactions to what was said, be it Jada's and Will's initial reaction to the joke. Mm-hmm. Word. So as we see in the clip, initially Will laughed. There's no telling if it was just like a ha 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 ha, I'm laughing because I'm supposed to laugh because it was a joke and everybody else is laughing, or if he was genuinely laughing and then saw Jada's reaction, to where she started off with like a little smile and then like, the eye roll and the okay, joke at my expense. I mean, of course, if you're feeling sensitive about something that you're going through, you're going to think it's a personal attack on that.
Right.
You're not going to be like, because again, if we're going to talk about what it coulda, shouldas of how people coulda did, I feel like, because I know people who have alopecia. I know someone who's had alopecia since they were 9, and it's still a tender thing for them. So some people may be able to be like, I can live with it. I can, and then some people, it always remains a tender thing. But like as far as woulda, coulda, shouldas, that could have been an own it moment for her, to where she could have been like, and I'll fuck that role up too, and moved on from that and owned what it is that she's going through. If we're gonna talk about woulda, coulda, shouldas, she could have stopped all of this from happening and just owned what it is that she's going through. Yes, it's something that's difficult. I can't even imagine. But it just owned it and been like, yep, and I'll fuck that G.I. Jane role, up too. Or it'd be like, yeah, I got the muscles for, or something, and just owned what it is that joke was going for. But because it is something tender, she took it as a personal hit toward her alopecia, when again, I don't think it had anything to do with her alopecia. It's just because she had short hair. So so again, if we're gonna talk about woulda, coulda, shouldas between what Will coulda, shoulda did and Chris Rock coulda, shoulda done, she could have stopped it in its tracks and just owned it, and people would have been like, "Yep," because at the end of the day, I think she'd be badass.
Or she could have stopped Will.
Or she could have stopped Will.
They're have to let him go up there, because when you protect your man and you don't want shit to come back to, y'all already getting talked about enough. If you did not want another thing to be talked about, you could have just been like, nah, babe, it's okay. We can talk about it later. Or, like, you can say something afterwards. Not right here. Not right now.
And then there's some people that are saying that when the camera turned away, because when she rolled her eyes, she started looking toward Will. There's some people that are thinking that she, some people are saying emasculated, but she, in a way convinced him to go do something about it. So...
And without that evidence, that's
right. Without the evidence, it's all speculation.
Yeah. So, I heard what you're saying.
Who?
Jelly.
Okay.
For me, it raised a lot of like hypothetical what if, not even like actual like questions, but like questions around the question, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, all these are woulda, coulda, shouldas as far as like trying to decipher how could this have been stopped? Yeah. How could this have played out differently with the situations that did happen?
Right.
Because everyone was saying, "Oh, well, Will should have did this, Will should have did this, and Will should have did this."
They all played a part.
I'm like, right? They all played a part. There's woulda, coulda, shouldas that could be toward everyone, all the way back to the staff writer that wrote it.
Yes, and that's a thing. I don't know if you brought that up yet.
Right. I feel like
that it was
I said in the beginning, and I was like, when we were talking about the joke initially, because we're gonna go step by step on this whole thing, but I was like, initially, the joke itself, Chris didn't even write it. So Peace and Love put, "I'm sorry, Chris was wrong. This was the same man who sat there and let a white man say the N-word with the hard R twice, and Chris laughed about it, so to hell with him." So is it that because he did this, you just don't like Chris Rock, so you're just gonna put him at fault?
Right,
or do you actually have reasoning as to why Chris is the one who's in the wrong with it? The information coming out that he didn't know she had alopecia and he didn't write the joke. Why is Chris Rock still in the wrong for you?
Right, because that has nothing to do with this situation.
Right. This just says that you don't like Chris Rock, so because there's a blame that because you feel like there's a blame to go around, it's gonna go to Chris Rock because of this situation. Right. I hadn't heard of this situation.
He can only do wrong.
Right.
He can never do right.
But what is your reasoning as to why he's actually wrong that has to do with this situation and not your disdain for Chris Rock? I'm wondering.
And while we're waiting for that answer, because I don't want to answer for you.
I also have some people in here too. That's why I wanted to be able to get up and go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because there are people talking in here.
Okay.
What was that? Oh yeah, while we wait for that answer.
Can you move that closer? So you can see it from there?
I want.
Oh, you want to charge it at the same time?
Yeah. All right, y'all. Excuse my.
You want me to pull up? I can pull up on Facebook.
You said what?
I'm gonna see if I can pull up on Facebook. Or has to be on your account?
Are you live on Facebook or Instagram?
No, I tagged y'all in it, so maybe you can check to see. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna try and figure out how to make this easier.
Boom, got it.
You got it?
Cool. Yeah.
And you can see other people's comments.
Yes,
yeah.
Awesome. All right. Cool.
You can see other people. They exist. Other people.
Chris mentioned G.I. Jane. Will was absolutely wrong for making it physical, says Diane Higgins. Will Smith laughed at the joke. The only reason Will did anything is because he's seen his wife roll her eyes. Chris Rock has a strong chin.
So, what I was gonna say is that I feel like everybody had a role to play. In my own personal sense, I talk with my mom and my older brother because we have like a family chat. Younger brother, he's at work, but we have a family chat, and so when I was talking about it, I was like, first things first. Since I live in a house with people who always have the hard conversations, we always try to grow with each other emotionally. We don't just look at things face value, or I find it very difficult to just look at things face value, especially since the pandemic has put us all in a place where we're actually sitting down and being within our own energy, understanding that we're all human, understanding that we all make mistakes, we all do similar things, different things. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I had that struck me first was the fact that this is the reactionary response around the globe, like, period. Like, before we get back into like the detail of it, this reactionary response is like literally the next thing on the chopping block. It was just Pete and Kanye, and it's like now it's Chris Rock versus Will. It's like there has to always be some kind of polarization, one versus another situation, and I'll get into detail about this later, but it's the black community that has the power, the resources, the influences to spread this information around. Ultimately, what happens is something happens, a little ripple happens, we spread it, it becomes a meme, it becomes a shirt, it becomes a shoe, it becomes culture, it becomes a dance move, and they sell it right back to us. And then something else happens, and it becomes a meme, and then it just keeps going. So this is the next thing. This is the next thing. Like, if this would have happened next week instead of last night, it would have been perfect timing, because there would have been at least 2 Kanye shirts out, a Pete Davidson NFT, and then there's the next stuff. Like, it just, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there before we continue with the conversation. That's one thing that hit me first and foremost. Look.
So, and then Peace and Love says, well, from what people were saying, the people at the Oscars told Chris not to say anything to Jada again. The second time he has said something about, he did it at the Oscars in 2016. I was seeing in places that he had said something to her about like her hair being cut. I don't know if it was, I haven't seen the clip or anything. I don't know if it was specifically about her alopecia, but it was about her hair. And again, Chris Rock didn't write the joke.
That's where I'm confused.
Like, people are just like, oh, Chris, don't say that. Chris Rock didn't write, Chris Rock didn't write the joke. I mean, that's like telling an actor on set, hey, don't read this line, or like a PA telling an actor, don't read this line in the script because it might piss somebody off, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, again, with the woulda, coulda, shouldas, one on the outside would think Chris had the capacity to tell the producers, the staff writers, I don't think we should do this.
Right.
I don't think we should do this. But again, we don't know the dynamic. He could have been like, I don't think we should do this. And the producers would just like, shut the fuck up. You just...
Right, you work for me.
Right, you work for us. You're getting paid. This is what you're going to say. We don't know the dynamic of happened behind there. And then Peace and Love says, Chris tap dances for white people. If Jada was a white woman, Chris would not have done that. You don't know that.
Can I also...
That's, again, speculation for your own feelings of whatever contempt you feel for Chris Rock.
I have 2 things to say. Didn't you say that the producers were all black? Or who was all black? Who was all black in the staff for the Oscars this year?
All the producers.
Thank you. Okay, so that's one.
Right.
So shut the fuck up with your white shit.
Right, because the staff writers, I don't know what they were, but all the producers on the Oscars this year were black. So who was he tap dancing for?
So there we go. But secondly, I had a conversation with somebody earlier who had the same argument about Will Smith. So if we're going to say anything, sounds like Will Smith and Chris Rock are kind of like in the same boat as far as
pandering to white people.
Yes. Because that's what was also said about Will Smith, that's why he wouldn't put the N-word, or he wouldn't do certain things with his music or with his acting or whatever, because he was trying to cater to the white people who were paying him.
And they say the same thing about Nick Cannon. So why is that seen as a negative thing? We know how it is to get into the industry.
Yes, you have to play the game in order to change the game. So why are you guys mad at them? They're not doing anything that's different from the culture. They're trying to bring y'all up with them. So
right, because they now said the same thing about Tiffany Haddish, that she sold out. They said the same thing about Kevin Hart. In fact, Chris Rock talks about his pandering to white people on Kevin Hart's show, The Real Husbands of Hollywood, when he was just like, I'm white people famous. That's a different kind of famous. That's a different kind of audience that you have to pander to, and that there's a whole different game that comes to that. So why is that seen as like a bad thing? Like you said, you have to play the game in order to change the game.
And if you're doing it and creating opportunities for the future Black, community, why is that also a bad thing? Like if you want to look at it as a bad thing, if they decide that they want to be the sacrifice to create these opportunities for the future of their race, let that be what they do. Because that's a thing. There are martyrs around the world. There are people who have died for their causes, whether it's about gender, like women's rights, or whether it's about, Black rights, or it's about, the LGBT community rights. There are people who do this. Who are you? Do you pay? Do you pay their bills? Do you write their checks? Do you do anything that gives you the audacity and the power to say anything about any of this in reality? You can have an opinion, but make sure you carry in all the facts into your opinion before you come opening your mouth thinking that what you're saying is right just because you feel some type of way. Feel some type of way about your own life. I don't know why you feel so personal about everybody else's life but your own.
And it says from a member who worked on the scene at the Oscars, Will was trying to leave the Oscars and the actors told him not to leave. But when was he trying to leave? Before or after he smacked the shit out of Chris Rock?
Right, more information.
If he was trying to leave before, why was he trying to leave before? What was his reasoning to try to leave? But if he was trying to leave after, you already smacked the shit out of him. You went from your seat to
the stage.
Smack the shit out of him. It is like there at no point there was somebody, and because there's footage of him, like when the camera panned away, it's not like he tried to get up and walk out after the joke was made. He got up and walked on stage and smacked the shit out of him. So him trying to leave, it was either before or after he smacked the shit out of him.
That also could have even been a way to avoid the actual altercation, is to leave. You could have just walked out. You didn't like what he said. You could have just walked out.
He could have looked at Jada, put out his hand, and they could have walked out. Again, if
not powerful enough to walk the fuck out.
If we're talking about coulda, woulda, shoulda. So, go ahead, Millie.
More?
Oh, so no, there was someone on Bella's Facebook, Anthony Milkman McMinney, or McKinney. He said if they said the joke was written down, then it's Jada's fault because she was on the talk show saying how much she loved her shaved head. So they might have saw the show and said, okay, we can joke about her head because she likes it. Jada can't be capping. She can't say how much she loves her shaved head, then get mad at the joke.
Well, I wouldn't say it's her fault. I would choose words differently, because that just automatically puts it on her when everybody is to blame. Right. But I understand that, because if they did their research, which I feel like producers should do when they are going to do those types of jokes towards other people or whatever, especially if it could be like a because body image type of thing, so you don't know what it's going to be. So if they did the research and they saw that, it could have been like,
oh, she feels she's good about it. She's cool,
right? She feels powerful about it. So let's just
right.
It's just a harmless joke. So yeah, it like we said, it is partially everybody is who is involved.
Then Kenya Jane says Will would have to go around smacking everyone else who had Jada name in their mouth, and I was like, look, he ain't even smacked the person who had more than Jada's name in his mouth. So let's talk about that.
That's a whole different thing.
Right.
He's probably trying to make up for a lot of shit that he didn't do.
Or he's still got his own emotional stuff, like he said in his apology, that he still got going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has a lot of work that he needs to do.
Another point that I made with my family was like, for me, and this again wasn't taking sides, but I'm like, is this what is becoming the standard for like relationships, at least from like a popular reactionary sense? You know what I'm saying? You're in a relationship with someone, and your relationship, it's now a matter of social course, whether you don't want it to be or you want it to be. It is there now, and now that it's there, y'all are going through a natural the natural entanglement situation. I'm not gonna say everyone's marriage, but people go through it. It's a thing. But y'all happens to be in the social space. So as you as a man or a woman, you as you at least Will as the man are going through this. You're still in the energy of that, and then now you're making this move, publicly in a sense. So it's like, again, instead of looking at things from a celebrity, we all in a celebrity's business. I just want to like see what's going on in y'all life right quick. Someone show me what's up. Like look at it from like bring it down and look at it from like a very forward perspective. Like what's happening in this man's life?
Right.
What's really happening with him right now? Because again, with Kanye, we try to like sweep it under the rug because he's an artist. Oh, he's eccentric. That means he is creative. That means he is crazy. Instead of like, oh wait, he's actually bipolar, and this may be a product of bipolar. You know what I'm saying? Instead of seeing it like this, we're all seeing it like this is part of the celebrity lifestyle, and these things happen. It gets so crazy that he just smacked him. Like, no, that's not really a normal thing. I don't think I feel like we're missing that part of it as well when it comes to this. Like, can we stop and really take the time? Because I mean, it's one thing to smack somebody. I get it. Maybe some people about that life. It's another thing to smack somebody on like live television, you know what I'm saying? And it's a whole other thing to smack somebody on like a live television event, like to this, you know, to this degree. So for me, I'm just like, I'm not saying like he weighed out the consequences before he went up there, but
he definitely
it
was an emotional.
Oh yeah,
it was emotional.
Straight
so I'm like,
emotion,
what's happening? If this is what you're doing, you're emotional. Some people, when they get emotional, they go drink. Some people go cheat. He went and slapped old boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening in there? Like, that's the questions that I want to know. Like,
so on the YouTube comments, forgive me if I say it wrong. Parasia Randolph says, for one, I just like to say hi. I'm a big fan of Will. It just went out. I'm a big fan of Will. But I'm a big fan, but Will could have talked to him behind closed doors about it instead of smacking him.
Yep.
Then AU Space says, people be jumping on actors for very minor things. I know this is something that went public, but when I first saw, I just thought of it as normal fight over a misunderstanding.
Right.
And it could have easily be talked about afterwards.
Yep.
Sue Girl says, I understand both sides. I think Will, yes, was wrong for what he did, but I think people forgot he is human, and he had a human moment, because if we were on the street and saw that, nobody would care.
Thank you.
And two men fighting and making mistakes shouldn't be looked at as if it's some big scandal. But yes, like you said, Will looks like he really trying to make up for things and prove he's the man of the house. And then Parasia says it shouldn't be, because they're celebrities. It's turned into a big deal, especially because of the cheating scandal Jada had earlier. Right. So, and there are definitely some things that we gotta, I mean, me personally, I think we gotta stop saying who was wrong for doing what, especially in the black community. We need to just say neither of them were right.
That part.
Because this choosing side things that Malik was talking about, this 1 versus 1, is trying to put blame on somebody, and then they start talking about the woulda, coulda, shoulda on what they could have done. Some people, okay, sweet, I said it right. Some people are saying it's Chris. Some people are saying it's Will. I'm throwing Jada's name into it as well. But I think as a whole, we need to stop trying to figure out who was wrong or the most wrong, and just say nobody was right.
Right.
Nobody wins. Nobody won from this.
It isn't something that you want to win anyways.
Right. Like, Chris didn't win. He got the shit smacked out of him. Will didn't win because for whatever reason why he went up there and did it, whatever message he was trying to get out wasn't received at all. If you were trying to look like a big man, you didn't. You smacked somebody, and it was pretty damn near a sucker punch, because you walked up with your hands behind your back until the last second and you sucker slapped him. So you didn't look like a big man. You didn't look like you were protecting your woman at all, because
except to the weird ass toxic females out there.
Yeah, except to he was protecting, right? And
my man don't, just like Will did. I don't want it.
Right,
get the fuck out of here, y'all toxic.
It didn't look like you were protecting black women, because he wasn't attacking a black woman. For all those people out there that are saying what Chris Rock said, oh, how dare he punch down? He's punching down black women. That wasn't a black woman joke. That wasn't an alopecia joke. That could have applied to a white bald woman, a G.I. Jane too. But anyway,
wait, you were saying something in the beginning of this too. I want to piggyback off of.
It might be in the next.
We're all not. They're not. Stop trying to look for who's wrong. Neither of them are right.
Yes, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. All right, so in that sense, and trying to find out the who's right and the who's wrongs. If we continue to try to find out the who's wrongs, if we continue to try to find someone to place the blame on or the scapegoat, what it does is it's its own social form of division. Like, it's its own social form of tearing our own community down. Because the way I've witnessed us work is we'll get together and let's take the Chris, let's say if it becomes a Chris Rock, Will Smith, and people start doing what they usually do, taking sides. Now let's say, well, Will was wrong. Now there are people who feel like Will was wrong. If you feel like Will is wrong, you know what I'm saying? Now we don't support that energy, or we don't support you. And if there's a people you don't support, it's really a big like, oh, like I don't rock with this guy. Oh no, because you're the type of guy who you're on that Will Smith stuff. Like that's what you do.
Right.
And it's like that's not the like and all Will did was have a human moment and make a human decision in front of a lot of people in a televised screen. And now because someone decided like, oh, you know what? In that moment, I agree with him. Now we can't be friends. Now whatever connection we had is null and void. And of course that means that whatever connection y'all had was never there in the first place. But the bottom line is people create, you create more and more categories of division to create more separation between your own community. Your own community. You know what I'm saying? It's like I see it happen with people's flesh and blood. So happen with your own community. Like let's not do that. Let's try to find ways, like you said, to find out who was right. And in this case, nobody.
Yeah. It used to be like you can't talk about religion and politics because it divides people. Now it comes to you can't talk about anything.
Right.
Because someone is not going to agree, and it's either you agree with me all the way 100% or we're enemies.
Right.
Right, yeah.
There's no agree to disagree anymore.
No agree to disagree, no ability to have like a conversation to see eye to eye or anything like that. It's either I'm completely right because I agree with this, and if you don't, then we are enemies, just enemies.
Right.
To the core.
Let's see. So next we're gonna go to. I'm gonna go back to reading the comments. We're gonna go to the next part that happened after the reactions of Will and Jada. Was then the next thing we saw was Chris saying, "Oh, come on, that was a good one." And I haven't seen the clip, but you said you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
So what?
No, I know he said he did definitely say that.
Said what?
No. He saw that, but I'm talking about Will telling him
Chris
to
Rock
chill.
to chill.
So Will, okay, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, one quick thing beforehand. Will laughed.
Yes.
He did laugh
First
in the
of all.
beginning. He laughed in the beginning and then looked
said-
over and saw Jada feel the way she felt. And because of that, he told Chris Rock, chill. You know, he did just like a chill.
Right.
And then Chris Rock was like, hey, come on, it's
That
a
was
good
a joke.
joke. Or whatever.
Right? So
yeah.
so I'm gonna stop it right there, right? So as someone who hangs around comedians, one thing comedians are known for is doubling down.
Doubling down.
So especially if it's something that they think is funny, they're gonna double down. Because if you punk out, then you punk out, and they're gonna be like, you don't even believe in your stuff that you're saying.
Right.
So comedians will, double down. So in the eyes of woulda, coulda, shouldas, it seems like to me that oh come on, it was a good joke was Chris defending the joke itself. I think with Will saying like chill, again, I don't know Chris Rock's. I mean, according to statements I've seen, Chris Rock didn't know that she had alopecia. So he didn't even know that there was a chill that needed to be had.
Right.
But if he was aware that she has an affliction, then to Will's chill, a different response could have been like if she couldn't hype herself up, you'd be like, what? She'd kick ass in that role. What are you talking about? Like defending instead of doubling down on the joke, doubling down on what the joke was trying to present, which was she would look like a badass G.I. Jane. What if they made a G.I. Jane too?
Well, from a smooth gentleman perspective, I meant no disrespect. So let's get into it. Like it's that simple, bro. Like again, I'm not putting it on Chris. I'm saying if in the woulda coulda shouldas, it could have been G.I. Jane. He would have chipped. No disrespect. Yeah, it would have been like that simple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone would have looked at him any type of sideways.
Right, but he egged it on. Like, as soon as, he didn't have to do the, come on, it's a good joke. He could have been like, all right, so now for the award. Like, he could have just kept it going. He did not have to, try to, what is it? Not make a statement, but kind of like kill that joke kind of thing. Like, when your joke doesn't hit and people keep trying?
Right.
That kind of thing.
But also, on the flip side of that, I was saying earlier today that when it comes to these kind of situations, I believe that we're now rolling into the generation where instead of just making space for people where you are, so in the sense of like if I'm on a certain movie set and they're like, you know, do you know 5 more people? Of course they're gonna call my five people, like, you know, my 5 closest people. Instead of just doing that, now it has to be when we're on the movie set, you know what I'm saying? We need you in the scene, and when I go, I grab you with me. Now we need to hold space for each other. We need to make sure that if I hold you in the same regard that I hold myself when we're in these spaces, not just we're in this space and we're back to competing. No, if we're going to be in this space, then let's be in this space, because it's already tough enough for us to be here.
Support.
You know what I'm saying? So again, in the woulda, coulda, shouldas, I believe a good could have been if Chris Rock doubled down on the joke in the sense of like G.I. Jane, blah, like you said, G.I. Jane, blah, 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 you would have been great. Or, you know what I'm saying, we need a black G.I. Jane, you know what I'm saying, or something like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That would have been perfect timing. It's Women's History Month. She's a black woman. She's right in the front. Boom, perfect timing. And you spun the whole thing around. That would have been perfect, you know what I'm saying? But again, this is me having a day or two to think about it, not being on my feet. You know what I'm saying? This is me not being like a quick-witted comedian. This is me not having all the information and resources. But again, this is what it's going to mean for us in a general sense. And when I say us, I mean ethnic people in an overall sense. When you find yourself in a space, you have to hold space. You know what I'm saying? Now, everyone doesn't deserve that. I get it. But for the people that you know that do, hold space for people. Make sure you give them the same regard that you would give yourself when you're in that space.
Right.
Because they're going to be who they are. And if today they slipping, today they slipping. But if today they on, perfect. I'm glad you held that space with them so they can walk up because your homie held the space for them. That's what we have to do for each other. Or it's going to be us holding each other back to clamber up to the top. So that being said, in the woulda, coulda, shoulda, thinking of like a very universal progressive message would have been cool to see Chris Rock double back on the, you know what, why don't we have a black G.I. Jane? Producers?
Right.
Okay, well, anyway, let's get to these awards, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It would have been like, ooh, okay, well, now we need to make a movie. You know what I'm saying? It's so simple.
So Sue Girl says, I do think Will has the right to feel the way he did, which he does.
Facts.
But I also think that this was already boiled up, but hopefully they talk it out. Also, I don't think it's wrong he stood up for his wife. No, I'm not. We're not saying, oh, he's wrong for standing up for his wife. But that's just like when a couple's in a bar and a guy hits on a girl that doesn't know he's with somebody. A guy can either say, yo, you know, chill out, this is my girl, or he can walk up and punch the dude for talking to his woman.
Right.
Now, there's some toxic females that are just like, I want my man to beat his ass. You need to chill the fuck out, because that's not normal.
Right. No. You need therapy.
And then Parasia says there's nothing wrong with standing up for her, but it's how he did it. Exactly. The only thing people will remember is him smacking Chris, not the award that he won.
Exactly.
Or Questlove, who had to win it, who won his award like 2 seconds later.
Or Samuel Jackson.
Or any of the Oscars.
And his participation Oscar.
Or Kelly Rowland's outfit. Whoa,
everybody
baby,
is
like,
only talking about the drama, not the black excellence.
Right. After having so many hashtag Oscars so white, we had so much black excellence in this Oscars, but all anybody is going to talk about is how Will lost his temper and smacked the shit out of Chris Rock over a joke.
But you know what? Because y'all feed into that shit.
And go ahead. I was going to say, let that be the biggest takeaway, y'all, please. No matter where y'all watching this from, please let this be the biggest takeaway. We are in a generation where black people obviously have the influence. They steal it on TikTok. They take it from these things. We're coming out with movies where we have proven these mathematical things and all of this. Like, we have the power. We have the influence. But what do? We'd much rather support the idea of us in a dramatic fashion than us in an excellent fashion. We have to do better.
So we can no longer just sit there and say it's white people keeping us down. We are keeping ourselves down. There's so many other things we could be talking about.
So many beautiful things that happened on the Oscars now.
But this is what we're talking about. Now, granted, we're talking about it too, but we're talking about it because we're sick of hearing other people talk about it.
And not talking about the right things and not having the emotionally intellectual also ability to have these types of conversations, talking about it from all different sides. Everybody want to be like, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I know better. No, I know. No, you know shit.
But there are like a million different timelines. If we want to talk about the multiverse theory, there are a million. Like the reason why I'm having us go through and break down each little part of it, because so far we have thought of like 8 different timelines where this could have gone differently.
Yeah, could have been.
And we haven't even gotten to the part to where he actually smacks him yet.
Facts.
Which is gonna be next. So this is gonna be the bit. So this is the next part. We said, all that. The joke was happened. The reactions. Will initially laughed. And now we're to the part to where Will decided. I think in this moment right now, I need to walk up and physically and negatively assault this person who I feel hurt my wife's feelings. And again, we don't know how many times he's had to hold her while she was in tears because of what it is that she's going through. We don't know how close it is that he is to what it is that she's going through. Because sometimes even in married couples, they want to deal with it on their own. And sometimes they're their only support that they have for that.
Right.
So we don't know how deep he is into with her journey to dealing with her alopecia that she suffers from. So I don't want to say suffers from, but deals with.
Suffer because it's bothered,
Right, or is bothered by dealing with has. So we don't know what that is, how hard of a chord that struck with him, even though his initial laugh was, initial reaction was to laugh. Maybe he thought, she was cool with it until he saw how much she was not cool with it. And then it reminded him of a time previously, but he made the decision to get up and assault Chris Rock in the hardest slap I've ever seen. And Chris Rock ate it. All the nom 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 nom. He just said, whoof, wow, he probably got instant numb face. But so let's talk about in the name of woulda, coulda, shouldas with that. Me personally, or one of the woulda, coulda, shouldas I feel he could, because again, people were saying Chris Rock was leaning forward, which is why they think that it was a setup. But I think he was leaning forward because he maybe thought Will was going to say something on the mic, or he was just, that's an inquisitive thing. Hands behind the back, you leaning forward, like, what you got to say, my friend? Or something like that.
They're like, yo, bro, if you da-da-da.
Right, or say in my ears.
Right. But Will could have used that moment to, instead of assaulting Chris Rock, to use it as a platform and be like, in case you guys didn't know, my wife is dealing with alopecia, so I would appreciate it if there weren't jokes made at her expense. This is still something that is sensitive to her. Thank you very much. Blah, blah, blah. And then sat your ass down and used it as a platform to let people know, because I didn't know she had alopecia. People are like, oh, she talks about it all the time. I don't follow her. I know lots of people that didn't know she had alopecia until that moment.
Right.
And there are other people who didn't know she had alopecia until then, and everybody's assuming that he knew she had alopecia especially because he mentioned it back in 2016. He could have been just as clueless then as he is now. We don't know. But Will could have used that as a moment to shine a light on people who have alopecia and how it's an affliction, and telling people, hey, this was not appropriate, I don't appreciate it, other than smacking him and assaulting him and then saying, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. You could have used that platform to be like, my wife has alopecia, it is something she's been dealing with, I would appreciate it if there were not jokes made at her expense. Thank you, enjoy the rest of the show, and sat down. And we're talking about woulda, coulda, shouldas. So that's my thought on the actual smack.
Yeah.
And he was a bitch for walking up with his hands behind his back like he wasn't gonna do anything, and then smacking him out of nowhere. That was a bitch move.
So yeah, I feel like overall, I get the justification and feeling some type of way. And if your mentality is you're talking about my wife's disease, I told you to chill, da 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 da. Personally, getting out of my seat to handle it physically,
that's a lot.
I feel like it's a lot, and I really don't think I would really feel a way to do that unless either one, me and Chris had words before, and you know I don't play this.
Right.
Then I'm gonna smack you because you know what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're right, if we had this conversation, I don't care if it was a month ago, years ago, but it was clear then, and I was like, look, bro, when it comes to me and my fam, I don't care who you joke about or what you do, but if I hear you talk about any of my family, bro, we gonna have a physical problem. You know what I'm saying? If I came to you that way, and then you was on the Oscars and thought you was getting away, cool. You know what I'm saying? But unless it's like that kind of energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really can't think of a situation where here I am pulling up with okay, now I gotta put my hands on him. Now, of course, I'm not gonna say of course. I was raised by my mother. And so being raised by my mother, when it comes to the woman that you're with, the way she responds to things is important. And the way you need to protect and be there for her is important, just like she needs to be there for you and your heart, and your protection is important. So in that regard, I don't think that I would have walked up to smack you. I may have, if I felt like getting out of my seat, I may have walked up to say something, or even walked up to you, right, and pulled the mic from him. You know what I'm saying? Not even asked him, I pulled it from him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if anything. Like an aggressive yank, because again, at the end of the day, once you get stuff physical, besides the fact that you can get charged, as I was told, or as in a conversation I had earlier with someone who was conversing with Bella, there are people out there who feel like I, as Will Smith, may be one of many people who are tastemakers and representatives, and not for the race, but representatives for the idea of the black man within this society, or successful black man within this entertainment industry, within this society. And of course, you know, when you think about it, it's like, okay, so you're a successful person, but within the society we live, that's so layered and so tiered that there are people who, like, I hate to say it, but there are people who really do place their lives, place their energy, place their belief in the moves, or place their skewed perspective on the moves of these people. So I'm not saying it falls on me to make sure I curb my energy because people are watching, but it falls on me to make sure that I'm aware of how my actions vibrate outside of just me and my wife, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So for me, again, like, it's really hard for me to justify going up there and just smacking a man because he said something and I wasn't clear about what the context was, but I was like, hey, chill right there. And then he was like, oh, it's a good joke. I don't think my, you know what I'm saying? I don't think my, unless again, like, I don't have to be like hot. Like, I don't have to be so pissed and so like ticked off to just stand up and be like, you know, I'm about to handle this right quick. Cause like, I feel like I would really have to be in a place of like seething or, I just.
There was a comment before that was just like, he was already like boiling. He's been sitting on some emotional BS for the past couple of years or so.
Right, I would have to be hot.
That where his whole personal life has just been on display and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, King says, Will been waiting to smack someone since his wife drama a year or two back. Parasia says, I think his son making a post about it added to the fuel to the fire when it comes to social media. And I had to look up what he posted. Jaden posted up, and that's how we do it on his Twitter. First of all, Jaden is Gen Z, don't know nothing about nothing, only 23 years old, been under the safety of his parents the entire time. Well, I mean,
also,
I guess he did try to get
just
like
react. They a lot of the times they tried to have conversation.
Right. Jaden wasn't there. All he saw was, oh, it looked like my mom is hurt, and my dad defended my mom and smacked the shit out of the Jew who did it. Yeah, that's how we do it. He didn't know the nuances again that we're talking about that not everybody's gonna know. So yes, that's gonna add social media fuel to the fire. But again, I can't say he's a kid because he's 23.
He's not he's young.
He's young.
But the thing is, this just also goes to show you how big of an influence your parents can have. And if you influence your children to be okay with shit like this, they will influence others to be okay with shit like this. So this is going to cause another ripple effect where people are going to think this is fucking okay.
Like this is what defending your family looks like.
Right. No, absolutely not.
And ultimately, this is the problem. The problem at the end of the day is influence. Again, like my thing is that you are
on a platform. You have a platform.
Exactly.
You gotta think about that before you do stuff. Unfortunately. But yes, it is the life that you chose.
If he wanted to make a ripple, instead of being like, yeah, that's how we do it, just be like, yo, Dad, why did you feel that was necessary? Is that the kind of man you want to raise me to be?
Exactly. Challenge each other instead of either being quick to tear down each other or enable each other's dumbass shit. Like, stop doing that. My take on the smack or whatever was he could have waited. Not to smack. I mean, you could do what you want to do on your own time, but this was the Oscars time. This was everybody else's time. Everybody dressed up, took the day to do what they needed to do to get ready to either, be a part of the categories or just be there and experience it or whatever it was to show support. And this is what the fuck everybody is talking about.
You made it about you.
Exactly. You and your issues, you and your relationship, you and your ability to control your emotions. You made it about you. This was about the Oscars. This wasn't the Will Smith show. This wasn't Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This was none of that. This was the Oscars, an award show for every other artist or whatever involved in the industry. So I didn't like that. I think it would have been nicer if you could have just sucked it up, tell, Jada, like, babe, I'll take care of this. Not right now, whatever. I'll talk to him later. I'll handle this man to man. And you pull him aside later on at the awards party or whatever the fuck happens afterwards or whenever you got to see him. Like, hey, bro, I understood your joke, but I just want to let you know that my wife, she does have alopecia, so she took that a little bit to heart. So just for next time, like, if anybody ever tries to tell you, like, hey, I want to do this joke about Jada or whatever, I'd like for you to consider, her feelings before that, because she is still tender about it. So that could have been another thing. That would have been the adult man-to-man thing to do.
And then the apologies coming out would have been Chris saying, I was not aware of her da-da-da-da-da. Me and the staff writers were not aware of the da-da-da-da blah, blah, blah. It wouldn't be Will having to apologize for what he did.
Yeah, it would have only been him. Only been Chris having to apologize. And that would have been so easy, too, because it wasn't like he knew. So it wouldn't have been like I'm fucked up, I'm wrong, dang, I have to deal with this mess that I just did. It would have been like I'm sorry, y'all, I didn't know, I had no idea, and, I was spoken to afterwards, and I was made aware. That's what we need to do. We need to inform and educate instead of tear down. And we have talked about this shit for years, at least since COVID. It's been a lot of, because with the Black Lives Movement and all that stuff, a lot of people have been pushing this, inform me and educate me instead of tearing me down. Why are we still fighting about this?
Counsel.
Yes, like, help me be a better person. Why the fuck you trying to make me a worse person? Because I'm just going to think that I'm not allowed to have an opinion or a thought, and you're automatically right, and that's what it is. Like, how about we help each other out instead of, hating each other? Love, man, love. What the fuck?
So Sue Girl has a really good question. They say, do you think people would care if it was the BET Awards? Would it be getting this much attention? Just want to know y'all's thoughts. I think it would be getting the same amount of attention, but it wouldn't be getting the same narrative. Scrutiny.
Oh yeah, because people are thinking white people.
Right, because they're gonna be like, oh, they smacking each other on stage at the BET Awards. Well, that's black people shit, or that's ghetto shit, or that's expected at the BET Awards.
Right,
somebody,
it's ratchet.
Like somebody getting shot at the BET Awards is something that'll be more accepted than someone getting shot at the Oscars, or something like that because of the
narrative, and
the narrative and the quote, what they consider the quality of people that are there, and the Oscars is seen as more prestigious, meaning there's more white people involved. Yeah. And stuff like that. So I think it would be getting the same amount of attention because people would be talking about it no matter what.
But not as much hate.
But it wouldn't be the same amount of scrutiny. There wouldn't be a who's wrong and who's right. Or woulda, coulda, shouldas. There wouldn't be any official performance review that the Oscars is now doing, if people getting suspended and stuff like that. It wouldn't be under the same amount of scrutiny because when you're in the white world, there are more rules that you have to abide by.
Yeah, I think,
And please stop saying they were both wrong. It's not about who was wrong. It's just that neither of them were right. Because there's so many different ways that it could have went. But it's just that neither of them were right. It's not about who was wrong.
Right, because that's not the important.
Because that's building them down.
Yeah.
I'd rather them just stay where they are and be like, no, nobody gets a leg up than pushing people down.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So Res God on Twitch says, but people care if it was a gay joke? Question mark. I know the concepts got to be different, but they continue to say it only got attention because they're taking away from us yet another law they're about to pass. Three things have went viral back to back. So my question is, what law did they pass? And that's the question I used to ask myself as well. Every time something unnecessary goes viral, there's something that's happening in the world. Even like throughout the entire Trump administration, every time there was a viral event, literally the laws were getting passed through the table, underneath the table, around the table. Like Capitol Hill was like, it was like Capitol Hill was literally like fighting. It was swords out, guns out. But we were so busy doing Trump stuff and tear down the wall stuff and social media, like, you know what I'm saying, BLM was really getting this started. So much was happening, but there were so many laws that are happening. So my thing with to piggyback off of this is that at the end of the day, black drama wins again. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the Oscars event. It's one of the biggest events of the year. You know what I'm saying? I hear that and I get that. But if y'all don't see it now, like, it's kind of hard to be blind to it. Black drama, black trauma, black energy already is something that people want to like consume and pay for, whatever. But when it's on the negative side of things, that's what people want from us. Don't give them the satisfaction. Like, just don't. There's no point. There's literally no point. And my thing is, again, we're the ones who fuel it. We're the ones who fuel it because we're the ones who make the memes. We're the ones who make it funny. We're the ones who take it from this side of the culture and connect it to our side of the culture because we can see it, because we do that. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We create so very well. So let's create a better way.
Sorry, I'm reading his comments.
Oh.
Because he added more. I am not a Tyler Perry fan at all. I'm a fan of his plays. I think he's a very good playwright. I think he's a very entertaining playwright. I don't want to say good because it's not like, you know. I think he's a very entertaining playwright in his own aspect. But him as a person, I have issues with a lot of his intent. For me, it's all usually about intent. It's usually never the act, because I understand how some words that you try to say or some things that you try to do can be taken out of context of what your true intention was. For me, it's always figuring out the actual intention behind what it is that you do and what it is that you say. And with Tyler Perry, I don't like his intent behind what it is that he does.
Not wrong.
That's why I have so many questions, why I look at it from so many angles, because it's like, it's not what you're saying, it's not what you're doing, because that can be interpreted in so many different ways. Is the actual intent of what it is the true core of why you're doing this, why you're saying this. That's why it's just like with Will, I don't want to sit there and say Will is wrong, because what was the intent behind him smacking him? Was it because it probably had nothing to do with Jada and nothing to do with Chris and nothing to do with that joke? The intent definitely could have been like within himself. The struggles he's been dealing with within himself.
He's having issues with himself, so he was probably fighting that.
Yeah, and like what he sees his position as in this marriage with Jada. Like, it could have been anything behind the intent of why he smacked him. Which is why I don't want to be like, oh, everybody was wrong, because I don't want to say, because I don't know the intent.
Right.
And it shouldn't be about who is it that we can punch down and put blame towards, so we can make this go away. There can be situations that you move on from where there's no blame to be had. So can I ask, is this a lesson for people to not say certain things because you don't know a person's reactions? Like, my cousin was slut-shamed by her father and her boyfriend punched her in the face.
Wait. Her boyfriend punched her in the face? Or her boyfriend
punched her father in the face.
I mean, I think this is a lesson for, like, of many things. Of, make sure you know what you're about to say and, like, who you're about to say it to or about.
Just make sure whenever you
control your emotions.
Yeah, whenever you open your mouth, be about what you talk about. That's
right.
It. If you about it, then you're ready for whatever consequences come with that.
Exactly.
If you're not about it, then don't let it fly out your mouth. Do more research. Write it down.
And also, the thing, that research part, like, to know that they rehearsed this before the actual Oscars also got me too. So it was like he knew he was going to say this joke. He could have looked up anything about Jada and could have just been like, hey, like, how can I make this a better joke? Or how can I, like, add to this joke? And then could have come across, oh, shit, she has alopecia. Okay, well, maybe I'll say something to the producers. And then if they don't, and, like, they're like, you have to say this joke, how can I do a comeback to bring me back, you know, in case this does hurt her? Like, you don't know where they're at. Definitely controlling one's emotions, or learning how to handle it like an adult, because that's what adults do. Adults talk.
I'm gonna do the other side of this, and not the people saying something, but the people having stuff said to them.
Okay.
What?
Because both you guys have been saying, as far as like people who are saying things, like people like not to say certain things, you know, I was like, I'm gonna do the other side of that, the ones that are having things said to them, not the people who are saying things.
Emotions for that. So.
Right. The world owes you nothing. You got cancer, the world owes you nothing.
Yeah.
You are going to have to deal with the fact that you may hear a joke, you may go to a comedy club and hear somebody joke about cancer. If you're gay, you may have to run into somebody who doesn't like gay people. Yeah. If you're black, you may have to run into somebody who doesn't like black people. You cannot expect the world to cater to what you're sensitive to. Because you're sensitive to it. The world owes you nothing. Nobody in your life owes you anything.
Nope.
So you can either be a victim and, oh my gosh, everything triggers me, blah, blah, blah. I get it. There's some people who have mental issues to where they can't deal with their triggers. I get that.
But that's what medication is
for.
Right. That's what therapy is for.
But and at the very least, they're aware that they have these. I have a friend who constantly, you know, will remind us, just so you know, these are things that, you know, I know somebody who goes into a panic attack every time they see roaches. I'm not gonna take them to the Waffle House.
Facts.
You know? So it's just like the world owes you nothing. So expecting everybody around you to bend to what triggers you is narcissistic as fuck. The world owes you absolutely nothing. If this is something that triggers you, you do what you need to do to stay away from things like this. If you don't want fun poked at you, don't sit in the front 2 rows of a comedy club.
That part.
Because crowd work hits those front 2 rows. Sit in the back in the dark where nobody can see you.
Right.
You know, if you are a black person and you don't feel like dealing with KKK, don't go into the backwoods of Alabama.
Get a blonde wig. Stop playing with yourself.
Right, or something like that. But don't expect the world to bend around you and what you're sensitive to at all. I think that's the dumbest thing ever, and that's what I feel like when people talk about snowflakes. Like, that's what I feel like. I mean, granted, people took it and run with it and took it other stuff, but that's I think that's what they meant about snowflakes, because every snowflake is different, and they're expecting the entire world, like, no, you're a snowflake and you get piled on other snowflakes and you just become snow. No one's gonna look for your snowflake and then try to bend the world around you to make sure you're the one that survives.
Right, that's very idiotic. It really just is.
So it's just like, yes, there can be caution made on one end of the people who are speaking, but those that are being spoken to or having stuff spoken to them, like when people are saying, Jada said on her show, she's cool with her affliction. I like this new haircut. Yeah, I'm owning it. If you're not actually owning it, you shouldn't have said that.
That's cap.
It's all, yeah, I don't use that often, but that's cap. So Lady Cappington needs to say, "Oh, I'm not okay with. I'm still trying to deal with what I'm going through.
Like, I'm working on
it. I'm working on it, but you know, I know I look great and stuff, but there's still like some mental and emotional stuff. Don't sit there and tell people that you're 100% okay. And then when somebody calls you out and challenges you on that, you're not.
Or you take it that way.
Because again, I am 100% like think that joke had nothing to do with her alopecia. It had to do with the fact that she has a short haircut. And again, I will ask this question. If they made that joke toward Tiffany Haddish, would we still be in this situation? Because she has short hair. And if you're telling me, oh, well, she voluntarily cut her hair, then again, that's not a going down on black women or punching down black women or punching her down. It's just merely because she has an affliction. if she didn't have this affliction and she was still rolling her eyes, would Will still have got up and smacked him?
Right.
Because her feelings were hurt, or is it because her feelings were hurt and she has alopecia?
Right.
Yeah. Well.
Let's see, what was next? So there was a smack, and then there was the reactions to the smack. You know, Chris ate it, and then his wows, and Will then screaming the "keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth" twice, and you know Chris saying, "I will, okay," and his face looked of genuine surprise.
Battery.
What?
Yes.
What battery?
Yeah, it says low battery on your laptop.
Oh man, that thing is plugged in though.
Oh.
I mean, it may not be plugged in all the way.
It's like it's plugged in with a low battery. No,
But it is. It's supposed to.
What are comments happening on all the?
Let's see. So on Twitch we've got and you went there with confidence. So I'm warned about the joke. It was about her trying to reprimand him. She never owned it, and she still never said nothing to Shorty, who made a joke even after what was said.
Who's Shorty?
I think it was one of the announcers.
Oh.
Empress Erin said she's never said she was 100% okay with it. Res God said he told that joke because he felt that she was comfortable with it. Res God says she would have oiled their ass up. And Empress Erin explains the short haircut from a movie in the 90s. He couldn't come up with something else.
Well,
we know that he didn't write the joke.
But why? But also, like, why did it have to be something else though?
Good point.
Like what? Like that's the problem. People are justifying like it didn't have to be something else.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted, would it have made it any better if she goes V for Vendetta? If that's what he used? Like what's the something else? You come up with a better joke.
Yeah. But overall,
I don't understand. Like people are just so fucking sensitive nowadays. Like get the fuck over it.
Yeah.
And I'm not speaking at you, I'm just saying, this is like, you're saying the same shit that everybody else is saying, and I'm just confused as to why people need to do that.
Let's say, why did it have to be that?
Yeah, why it has to be that, like...
No, that was the question, why did it have to be that? The G.I. Jane joke.
It didn't have to be that.
So what is the point after that?
What?
She says, Empress Erin says, no, I'm saying to everything that you're saying, there is an opposite option. So what is the point?
What is what point? I need to know what the point of the point is.
At this point, it's just wasting breath. Why can't it be he is human and reacted and leave it there? Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally the conversation we're trying to have.
That's where we're at. Yeah,
we're just, putting everything out on the table, and then we're, like, that's...
I think she just got here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry if you just got here. We have literally been talking about, like, the several ways that we see this situation and how it could have been handled differently. And we also have not chosen any sides because we don't think anybody was really wrong. Just people weren't right and they didn't handle it the best way they could have. So yeah, nobody in this conversation is like choosing a side. We're just speaking on the different ways because with the last few days, we have been seeing it a lot on social media, and it's been a lot of, no, Will's wrong, no, Chris is wrong, no, Will's wrong, no, Chris is wrong. It's been a lot of that instead of it being like, hey, things happen. It was a human experience. They're all, they're dealing with the consequences. Like, they're being spoken to. Things are happening. Like, instead of it being like that, people are just ready to tear down somebody else. So one or the other. So we're having the conversation to hopefully end all conversations continuing about this.
Is there anything added on the Facebook stream, on Bella's Facebook thing? Eddie Escalante says the whole thing is fake.
Yeah, heck
There's some people who are just like, oh, this whole thing was fake. And I'm just like, it doesn't seem like... If it was fake, then that means the Oscars knew about it. And if the Oscars knew about it, then they wouldn't be having an official review of Will's behavior.
But also, they could just be telling us that they're having an official review. We don't actually know. So that's why I'm like, I wouldn't doubt it. But also, I just don't care enough about it to really try to figure out what the fuck it was. If it was real or if it was fake. I don't care.
And Nettie Gomes says, y'all preaching. And then his whole speech was about his wife when he's the one that won the Oscar. Like, what?
Wait, I need you to say that.
Will.
Nettie Gomes said...
Oh, that's my cousin.
Got you. And then his whole speech was about his wife when he's the one that won the Oscar. Like, what? Jada needs to kick rocks. she's ruining that man's...
No kicking him either. No smacking him. No kicking rock.
Oh, no, she was like...
She said Jada. Okay.
Bad.
I was like, she said Jada
needs
kick
to kick rocks. She's
Not
ruining
Will.
that man. She's ruining that man's life and confidence. 3/4 years ago... or 3 to 4 years ago, Will would have never did something like this.
Yeah,
because of before the entanglement.
That's why I'm just like
entanglement. He was happy.
That's why I'm just like
that's what we thought.
That's why I'm just like the intent behind what it is that he did. Kenny James on YouTube said Tiffany Haddish said Will was right for what he did, saying that Chris was insulting a woman's sexuality.
Wait, for when? Wait, when? What? What?
How was anything?
When did he do this?
What?
When did he insult a woman's sexuality?
Exactly. When did
this happen?
When did this happen?
What are y'all resources? Do y'all really just like...
Well, no, it's not that. The question is like where. It's just like how people were saying how what he said was punching down. Right.
That's what I'm confused.
It's just like how people were saying that he was punching down. Like, him saying that is punching down on black women. How is what he said insulting a woman's sexuality? Did he say?
Oh, yeah.
Did he say that first? Did he say, you ugly bald-headed bitch? Did he say, I don't find you attractive because you have short hair?
That's what I'm confused. Like, what do you mean by sexuality? Like, sexual orientation or, like, presentation?
Well, in one of the discussions I was having, they were saying as far as when it comes to black women, there's a lot of... they tie their hair to their femininity, their sexuality as a woman. Because...
So people generalizing black women?
Yes.
Okay.
Because because Chris Rock years ago did a documentary on hair because his daughter was struggling with how his daughter was saying how she wanted good hair because she had 4C hair. Mm-hmm. And to where it's just like, certain textures aren't seen as good hair, even though all hair is good hair.
Right.
No hair is good hair. Well, I mean, it's not hair, but whatever.
But it's great too.
And say, I don't know if this is real. What people are saying on Twitter that Chris Rock said, "I can end your career if I want."
Okay, so
he could, but he hasn't said any. He hasn't said anything.
The evidence is not there, so I really do believe. Just to cut it off now, I really do believe y'all need to stop believing in word of mouth and mind the business, and just let people do what the fuck they do. Like, what happens between them is not your business. Honestly. So people, I heard, okay, but were you there? Were you there? Were you right there when the conversation happened? No? All right then.
That's
you don't actually fucking know what happened.
That's like the statement that went around that you ended up finding out later wasn't even Chris Rock's because it was a screenshot of something. But we know Will's apology was his because it was on his personal Instagram. But Chris Rock hasn't said anything about the matter as far as I know right now. Mm-hmm. To be honest, even without hair, she's hot.
She is!
And she would make a fucking great G.I. Jane!
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. And that's why, the thought of she could have owned that was a thing. Because it's like, bitch, you bomb.com.
Right.
Why would you even get mad at that? But obviously, because you haven't dealt with it yet. It's still a tender thing. But own that shit.
Tiffany did an interview with Extra TV, and
we saw that.
and if Extra TV was smart, no, like that's a different one.
Oh, okay.
When she said that Chris was insulting a woman's sexuality, and if Extra TV was smart, I haven't seen the clip. They would have been like, oh, well, how is he insulting a woman's sexuality? Tell me how that.
So Tiffany said
Yeah.
that he. What?
Tiffany Haddish said Will was right.
Well,
for
I
what
can't
he,
see.
but I read it out loud already.
I didn't hear Tiffany.
Tiffany Haddish said Will was right for what he did, saying that Chris was insulting a woman's sexuality.
I just didn't hear the name, but okay.
So it's just like, how? Like, if Extra TV was smart, I would be like, how do you equate what it is that he said about comparing, her shortcut hair to G.I. Jane, who's a fucking badass who everybody loves and is an action star? How is that insulting a woman's sexuality? Exactly. Like, cause I'm confused. I'm confused. People just like throwing isms around.
I feel like Chris Rock really doesn't have to make a statement. He shouldn't have to at all. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But again, at the end of the day, my advice to him would be, bro, don't make any statements. Let this scandal that this is, or whatever this is, just let it die, let it dissipate. Because at the end of the day, in moving forward and being progressive for what we're trying to do for the future, it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter. The worst of it technically happened when you took the hit, so like it doesn't matter.
It's over.
Yeah,
it's
let it
over.
rock. Let it rock.
Everybody else is continuing.
What will win in the future is when Will comes back and apologizes, you know what I'm saying? And you hit him with the I forgive you situation in person, or like when we're in public and the public tries to make it more bigger than it is, and it's like, nah, what had it happen? You know what I'm saying? It's what it was. He apologized, I'm cool with it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, like this is what we have to show this new generation. Ugh, I hate to say it, but we really do, because these Gen Zers, bro, they are really staking their lives on this digital screen.
Yeah.
So,
and then people like, I don't know what our next
edited,
thing is, so I'm gonna wait until the next parts of it.
I mean, I think if any statement needs to be made, it needs to be from the producers and or staff writers,
the people who wrote this shit.
In lieu of Chris Rock. I agree. Chris Rock shouldn't have to put up anything other than my face hurts.
Right.
Like, I think that it should be like if it is the case that he did not write it, because Sue Girl put so from a blog, again, unverified source, are saying Chris Rock's G.I. Jane joke was an ad-lib and was not in the script for last night's. That was one of the members that's what one of the members at the show said. So, but
were the members quoted? Were they like
or was it like a blog by the members?
Right. That's what
show?
you need to link your sources.
But again, whether he wrote the joke or not, I do not believe his intent behind the joke was to poke fun at her affliction. It was to make a comparison to how her hair looked that night to how G.I. Jane's hair looks. And again, when I see a girl with hair cut like that, I think of either G.I. Jane or V for Vendetta, and I don't think V for Vendetta would have been appropriate.
Yeah, plus Chris Rock's a lot older, so G.I. Jane works.
Right, and it's badass, like.
Right, and G.I. Jane is a badass.
Yeah, great movie.
And like a powerful woman, So I think everybody is assuming what his intent behind it was, and they're wanting for it to be bad to justify him getting Will smacking him.
Yeah. And also justify the drama too. Like, people want there to be drama instead of it being like a misunderstanding, because you can't feed off of misunderstandings. You can only feed off of drama. That's entertainment, and that's the life we live in, the society we live in, until we fucking change it.
Yeah, and it says this too, but hopefully they work it out. They both are still amazing, and I'm happy Will finally won his Oscar. He'd been chasing for years. And honestly, that should show you how the Oscars are full of shit, because he's had better roles than what he played in King Richard.
Oh, yes.
He's had better roles than that.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Samuel L. Jackson deserves more than a participation Oscar.
Right.
What was his name? There was somebody else who was going up for
great actor. What is it?
Oh, the one that's with Penelope Cruz.
He played Spider-Man.
Oh, he played Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield. Yes.
Andrew Garfield,
People were saying that the role that Andrew Garfield ran circles around what Will Smith did. So that just should let you know that all this Oscar BS, there's a reason why people don't care and people aren't watching it anymore. So honestly, if you were to tell me that whole thing was orchestrated, I would believe it because they're trying to get numbers up. They're like, there's stuff that happens.
Shit.
There's stuff that happens at the Oscars. You guys should watch it and tune in. We got people slapping people on stage. You
Who
should
knows what's
tune
gonna
in.
happen this year?
Right.
And Dune got most of the Oscars. Get out of here. Anyway, sorry. Ignore me.
Right. No, honestly, and that's what's so annoying because Jesus Christ, Dune you look nice.
Yeah, it does look nice.
But the
I feel like the second and third movie are gonna be like, what happens if anything happens. But again, like it looks like, oh, okay. Y'all put some
Right. So best visual effects, that makes sense. Best cinematography, that makes sense. Best production design, that makes sense. Best film editing, that remains to be seen. Best sound editing, I mean, I guess that would make sense because if you have something big on that scale, yeah, it's got to have good sound editing.
Best original score, Hans Zimmer, of course.
It's Hans Zimmer.
He's the GOAT.
He could have did the score for anything, and he probably would have won.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Wow.
So, and I mean, again, it's not that fun when you watch the Oscars and it's just like the majority of the stuff goes to like one movie.
And this award goes
and it's the same thing. And honestly, they cut out so many other categories that are just as important, but they're like, they're using them under the guise of this is why people aren't watching it. No, people aren't watching it because nobody cares about the Oscars.
Right. Just yes. And it just honestly every year seems very rigged because people like shit that you don't watch is getting awards.
Nobody wants to watch a bunch of rich, privileged people patting themselves on the back.
That part.
Right.
For getting more rich.
Right, after they paid each other to get more rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no.
I mean, at least when it comes to like music awards and stuff like that, you're going to get performances.
Right. And then they all went to vacation together so they could all be convinced to vote for this thing so we could all get rich together. Like, it's, yeah.
Right. Again, that's why nobody cares about that. And with music awards, if you want to compare the Oscars to the BET Awards, I mean, you're going to get music performances. You're going to be entertained in some way. Mm-hmm. With the Oscars, your only entertainment are the presenters poking fun at these, celebrities.
The roast, right?
Right, is the roasting part. That's the only part that is entertaining. So that's all we do watch it for. And since, like, previously it was always so boring and PC, what are we watching it for? I can just go on Google the next day and figure out who won what. I don't have to listen to your speech.
Right.
It's going to be the same thing. Thank my wife or significant other. Thank my kids. Thank whoever got me here.
Right, the team.
Thank the team. Thank the crew. Whatever. And even if I do care, I can also go on YouTube and just watch your speech. I don't have to sit in front of a TV or a computer for 6-7 hours. Right. So it's just like, no. Like, the Oscars doesn't really offer anything for me to watch it live or anything like that.
I already said I don't watch no awards show until I get invited.
That part.
Or I'm a presenter, or I am there for a nomination. Otherwise, I'm not going. Or I'm not paying attention. I'm not watching it.
But yeah.
I will not get my view.
All the greatness that happened that night is getting overshadowed over somebody's emotional outburst.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay,
what's the next thing?
And I mean, that's
all right. Well, I got something then. I
was about to say. I guess at this point is the aftermath.
So the aftermath. I had a conversation this morning because this is the thing that's been getting me. I have not been trying to add energy to the drama because when you do, you create more drama.
You create reality.
You also manifest bad juju around you. So I do not fucking want to add to that. And probably bad juju for others. Don't want to be a part of it. So I haven't been posting anything. I haven't been responding to anybody on their nonsense, except for this morning. And it wasn't in particular to the smack. What it was somebody reposting a video that was of Will back in whatever, like 20, 30 years ago. When he was on on Arsenio Hall's show.
Not a generation ago, dang.
Yeah, motherfucker's like 50 years old.
Jeez.
Like
Arsenio Hall hasn't had a show in at least
right. either born or right before we were born. But yeah, and he did make fun of somebody that was on the show, that was there on the show. I don't know what part of the show, whether he was with Will's crew or if he was with Arsenio Hall's crew. But he made a little joke about how the guy has to wax his head every morning or whatever because he has alopecia or whatever the fuck. And so people were using that as a means to be like, oh, Will, I don't know why you upset. It's not like you didn't make a joke 30 years ago. Like, I don't like understand why people. Sorry.
The joke you made is older than me. All
Right.
right.
Right. Like, why are you still on it? It's so
I'm
it was
tight.
so annoying to me. I had to no.
You made that joke
But
before I was
it was
born.
just for me. It was like all right. For me, it was like all right. I need to say something because the only way people are gonna understand a different way of thinking things or how crucial something this. I'm sure it seemed very little to them, but something this little could really just fuck up somebody's whole life and whole like vision of themselves or confidence in themselves. When there's a saying, when you keep telling somebody or keep reminding somebody about their past mistakes that they are probably trying to grow from, you are not helping them at all. You are only telling them that they should stay there. And that's all they're capable of doing. And they're not capable of growing. They're not capable of changing. They're not capable of being better. So when you use that as a means to talk shit about Will, who most of y'all claim to be fans of, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. But when you do that, you are only stalling his growth. You are discrediting any form of growth that he has done in the past 30 years. You have no idea what he's been through to get to where he is right now. So for you to let him know that he is the same as he was 30 years ago, you are gross. Mm-hmm. You are a gross human being because you don't do that. Because I'll be damned if I took years to fucking grow and somebody tried to tell me that I'm still the same. No, the fuck I'm not. No, the fuck I'm not. You're not about to discredit my work, my healing, the shit that I've been through. You're not about to do that. So why? I had to talk to somebody today who claimed he was a Will Smith fan, but had no problem reposting that. Why are you reposting shit that you don't believe in? Or if you claim to be the Will Smith's fan, why are you reposting shit that's gonna make people hate him more or make people discredit him more or make people be like, that is funny. He wants to act different now. Yeah, I can wake up tomorrow and be a totally different person. Totally fucking different person. I can ridicule the mistakes I made 3 days ago. I could be somebody that was like, you know what? I learned from that shit. I don't want to be that person anymore. So now, in order to make sure I stay accountable, I'm also going to keep others accountable because that's not okay. That's not okay. And I did wrong, and I know it. So I'm going to make sure other people don't do it too. Why? Why can't you guys be okay with people winning, people growing? And it was his own fucking people too. I saw a lot of people that were not black that were saying, you know what, he did make a human mistake. You know what, he didn't handle it the best way, but this don't mean that I'm still not a fan. He had a personal thing. Things happen. Things happen, and he apologized. Get over it. It's okay.
Like he had a whole human moment that just happened to be broadcasted around the world. Unfortunately,
like, But how is it that your own people can't even fucking support you, but they want to claim to be fans? They want to claim that. Because one of the things that Guy has said, it was now black people can't do shit. Now the Academy is gonna be like, we don't want black people. Why are you putting this on Will? Why are you putting this on one fucking person?
Will does not represent the
all
black race.
He is not.
He does not represent black men.
He represents himself.
He
and
represents
his family.
Will Smith.
Then the Smith family.
Yes, and the Smith family, because
Right.
they all do. Because everybody a part of the Smith family. You know who you represent.
Right.
That's who you represent. But all black people, nah, homie, not a thing. Not a thing. You represent you, and that's it. So worry about yourself. Because the example I used earlier was, I'm pretty sure everybody still loves Denzel Washington. Pretty sure the people who love Taye Diggs, nobody. Nothing. That's what I'm saying. Because they're using his race like, he represented everybody. So that's what I'm saying.
So I'm just like, what did they do? I thought you were saying
after they did this.
Okay.
Well, I'm assuming that if you're
represents all black people, then okay, all black people are just like Will Smith. So if Will Smith is hated right now, then everybody hates Denzel Washington. Then everybody hates Taye Diggs. Then everybody hates whoever.
Or at the very least, they now expect Denzel Washington to walk up and smack the shit out of somebody when he's feeling some type of way.
No, because Denzel Washington is his own fucking person. Taye Diggs is his own fucking person.
If I may, cut in for 1 second, I agree with you. And just for anyone who may be confused in what's happening, I think what the guy is trying to say is that he feels that Will Smith is so influential with his stance as a black man in this certain entertainment society that the moves he makes is, although it shouldn't be, it leads to be some form of representation for the rest of us. So now, although Will Smith is Will Smith, you know what I'm saying, it may just randomly trickle down one day where I may come on set and someone may say something that you shouldn't say it, but just say something that you're not sure that you should say, you know what I'm saying, around me or whatever. And now it's like, we call security because we expected you to walk over and handle it the way y'all handle things. And it's like, y'all, you know what I'm saying? So again, some people do make that generalization. Hands up, I will say that. But
everybody does in some form or way, which is another thing I spoke about.
But I will agree with you and say before we're getting back to that, I think it's a very bit far-fetched to like put everyone under the scope, or even like yourself, or even if you work in the industry, putting yourself under the scope just because Will Smith did it. Like, you're not him, bro. I don't think they checking for you with all due respect.
Right.
Let's try to be.
But to continue to add to that, this is a conversation I also have with everybody. It was mentioned yesterday, I believe, where we were talking about like the generalization. That needs to fucking stop. Point blank period. Needs to stop. Because it doesn't just happen with race. It happens with genders. It happens with sexual orientation. It happens with religion. It happens with everything. Honestly, everything. Because society has made it such a normal fucking thing that nobody thinks twice about what they're going to say when they do make a generalization, and don't think about how it could make others feel or how it could come off as being whatever ist, so ageist or sexist or whatever, sexist, whatever the fuck, all those things. So people don't think about it because it's just so normal, because nobody says anything, nobody keeps anybody accountable. For example, people say, oh, that's some black people shit. People say, oh, that's some white people shit. Not completely accurate. I'm sure there are things in common because of culture or whatever, but you don't have to say that. You don't, because you're just assuming that all white people do these things. All black people do these things. Just like when people say, oh, you speak proper, you speak like a white person. Speaking proper is not a white person thing. It's just a thing, not a white person thing. No. And then a lot of the times when I've heard black people, I mean, I've said it too, but also, like, when people say, generally speaking, oh, that's some white people shit, usually it's taken as an insult. It's not saying, oh, that's some white people shit, that's dope. No, it's that's some white people shit. Oh, that's weird. Like, that's a thing. That's fucked up. Just like when something ratchet happens or ghetto happens, it's some black people shit. Like, people who are not a part of that community will insult it in that way. But also, black people will say that's some black people shit, but it'll be for the culture. Like, everybody fucking does it. Everybody fucking does it, and that's not okay. Like, maybe it's okay for y'all or whatever, but in reality, if everybody fucking stops, I get it, but what the fuck ever, I don't care.
I'm just like, that's some liberal shit.
I really don't care, because I don't give a fuck about politics, so. But in reality, that's just really what it is, and it's never going to change until people start fucking changing it and making it, that's I just want to do whatever the fuck I want to do shit. That's just me shit.
Yeah, I think it's like, it just got to a point to where it's just like easier to group things up into a thing and just kind of do like the common, it's just like the difference between like not the outlier, where it's just like, this is you're the standard, not the exception sort of thing. The whole line plot to where it's just like, yeah, there may be a few out here, but generally this is how it goes,
right? Sort
of a thing. And then just people applied it to
everyone.
Everything.
Yep, everyone and everything. But it also keeps people from being accountable for their shit too, because it's also like that's just a guy thing, or that's just a female thing,
boys
or that's just a gay thing. What? No, it's not. We all have our own brains. We all have our own personalities. It's not a fucking anything thing. It's an individual thing, and people need to stop generalizing every fucking thing.
like, oh, you're not like for gay people, like people will assume that I've seen it before. So basing it off of my own experience of what I've seen, people will assume that if a guy is gay, he has to be flamboyant.
Or instantly that means bottom.
Right.
I feel that. Usually I was talking about just like actions. So just like they have to be like, you know, stuff like that.
Yourself,
but
or even that you have to present yourself as a gay person.
Right. That's how you're supposed to tell people,
because
like,
you're gay,
yes,
like,
girl.
he wears a pin because gay has pink socks. Like, no, like he just happens to be into men.
Right.
That's
Or
it.
like gay guys are supposed to like women's clothes. Not all gay guys like women's clothes.
Right,
Like they like to be macho sometimes too. Like it's an individual thing, and this is a problem. Everybody just want to normalize and generalize everybody's thing that like as if there's a standard. There's a standard mold for every type of gender, sexual orientation, race, whatever. No, the only thing you should be living up to is who you want to be as a person. Not what your race is, not what your gender is, not what your sexual orientation is, not what your religion is, because it's the same fucking thing too. With 9/11, people were treating Muslims and, you know, the Middle Eastern people differently.
They weren't even doing that to like just Muslims. They were doing that to the Sheiks too, just because they wore turbans.
Well, that's why I said Middle Eastern, because I didn't want to just make it Muslim.
Because they're just like, bro, I'm not even Muslim, and you're sitting there yelling Muslim shit at me.
But it was a Muslim thing too, because anybody who mentioned they were Muslim, people were like, oh, that's your religion. You're the type of people that did the 9/11, blah, 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 whatever, this and that. So that's why I said Muslim and Middle Eastern, because it was both.
Just anybody who was brown was a target.
Right, was a target. They would do the random check-ins or whatever for TSA, and it'd be all of those types of people. Like, no,
like on Orange is the New Black, when they were patting them down, but they were only patting down the Latinas.
See, there you go.
And then like the Asian population with COVID.
Right. Saying that COVID was completely their fault, even though like the people that had nothing to do with it had nothing to do with it.
Right. Like attacking Asian Americans saying go back to where you come from. What, Cleveland?
Right. I mean, I'm here. I was born here.
Right.
So like I'm confused. But you know, it's just a generalization that people just need to fucking stop. Like this is one of the lessons I feel like are here too. Like you just cannot be doing shit like that. You need to stop putting pressure on celebrities that have nothing to do with you.
Right.
They do not decide for your life. They do not they may pave the way for some of the opportunities,
but they are not the standard.
They are not the standard, and they should not be the face of your race. Like that should not be it at all.
Y'all should have learned a lesson when y'all tried to put that on Obama, and he still fell short. Because people are just like, oh, Obama's supposed to be like, this is what black people really are. It's just like, he may be great, but he still doesn't represent me. He does not represent my dad.
He's an individual.
The administration in 30 years when they start revealing what really would happen. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. Don't worry.
I'm just like, I just think it's gross that so many people put so much pressure on celebrities.
So the aftermath of this is just going to be just as annoying because you're going to have to walk through all that. Well, this is what we can expect from celebrity black men now.
Right.
And then trickle down black men.
Or worse. For me, I think what's worse than that, because that's people deciding to like, oh, there's a filter and I'm going to decide to lean into it. You know what I'm saying? What's worse is, in my opinion, are the youth. And the young ignorant people, and you know what I'm saying, and not like willfully ignorant. It's just like you're just young, you just don't know. You see these things, and now you know what I'm saying. Now you at 14, 15 think, now I gotta put my hands on him because he said something about my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you don't know. You don't know he about that life. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you're gonna lose your life. I'm saying like again, I've seen situations, I've witnessed and been a part of situations where stuff like that happens. Someone is just trying to be tougher than they need to be because stuff like this, or someone's popping off just a little too much, and now the situation's getting a little too rowdy, a little too extra because you happen to see Will Smith. Well, you know, he said something. I told him to chill, so I had to walk up on him. You know what I'm saying? I had to Will Smith from one time. Like now that's the energy for the next 3 years in high school for you. Right. And that changes your life. Those 3 years change your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, for me, that's my concern about this. Not saying that like, oh, it's your fault, Will, you know what I'm saying, Jada, Chris. No, what I'm saying is when it comes to these kind of things and people like us, like them, people who are in areas of influence, fail to remember that at all times, especially in a public event, your influence matters. How you hold yourself and how you act in public, it's important. The regard that you hold to yourself and to the people around you, especially when we're a part of the same fold. We might not be kin, you know what I'm saying, blood, but we're a part of the same fold, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to do better. So like that's my main concern is like I get that as adults, we gonna make our own way. We gonna blaze our trail whether you want it or not. I'm still gonna be in that door, thank you, because I earned my spot here. But for these young people coming up, I'm concerned, like not super concerned, but like that's my concern. Like I hope that people don't take to this, one, in the division, and two, in the sense of this is okay, or this is the standard now. This is the way it needs to be handled now. You know what I'm saying? I got that Will Smith energy. That's the way it happens. Da 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 da.
He said Forrest Whitaker about to be smacking people for talking about his eye.
Jesus.
Look,
Yeah.
that's a staple. That's you, bro.
Right, that's how he was getting booked.
Low key, I agree. Sure. But yeah, but sorry, was that everything about the situation?
I mean, yeah, it was basically like the steps that happened to it, and then like the ripple effect, the aftermath of what this will cause. And the only reason why we're just like, I have no hope for humanity personally. I'm one of those people. So I don't think that there's gonna be much good. I forgot how good chicken sandwiches look. It's like the outside out, but when you bite and you see that white meat on the inside, that white rib meat, that's what it says. It's like chicken with rib meat. But it's just it would be nice if good came from this. If people would be like, this is what happens, or just like, oh, what a reminder that celebrities are humans too. What a reminder that celebrities have their own emotions and stuff that they're dealing with too. What a reminder that being a comedian is, to an extent, a dangerous job. Yeah. You know, what a reminder, like reminding of these things and not using it in like having it be like having a negative like effect on it. I don't think none of that's gonna happen. I mean, I think there'll be a percentage, but I think the majority is just gonna be like a negative reaction. People having to fight to show their individualism, that they're not Will, or that it was an isolated event, and turning it into a race thing, or all this stuff. I think that's what I think.
If you happen to have a conversation or see somebody talking about this, you should just give them this link.
Yeah.
So then the conversation is had, and every point that they'll probably try to make has been talked about.
True, tis true. No matter where you
That's the point of doing this, is to have the conversations and also have people who are open-minded enough to talk about all parts and then end the conversation. Because it was talked about for everybody. So now there's nothing left to talk about. Because that's why it keeps getting talked about, because everybody is still talking about the same thing instead of talking about the solutions, or talking about how it could have happened, or coming to a solution where it's like nobody wins. People are still fighting for that win. So that's why it continues to happen. Well, if you want to shut up a motherfucker, give them the link.
You know what I'm saying? Just put all the points out there. Let's hash
Exactly.
it out.
The points are pulled out. We pulled out all the points. It'll be here. If you're on my Facebook, you can tag them in the comments on my Facebook, because I'm going to post this as well. Do what you need to do to shut them up, because that's what it really is. Just shut everybody up. Stop talking about it. It's not your business.
And like this is gonna be like the I guess the new format, I guess, of the current, where it's not gonna be just like a weekly thing or a monthly thing. It'll just be like, whenever stuff happens that we feel needs to be talked about.
If we talk about it enough here,
it's
gonna end up being talked about.
Right.
Yeah, because this has been a 2-day thing.
Yeah.
And that's way too many days.
Right. It's too
many days.
Right.
It should have been like, oh, Will smack Chris. Oh, that was wild.
But I said, when
so,
I woke up, what did I say? Oh, here we go.
He was like, what I hate most about this is that I'm gonna have to deal with Will Smith smacking Chris Rock memes for the whole week. So
Yeah, that's why I haven't been on social media. I've posted what I wanted to post and left it at that.
Boom. I haven't even posted. I'm good. I'm like, I see it.
honestly,
Well, I have shit.
the last thing I posted was like a Gary Owen video where he puts his 2 cents on it, and honestly, everything he says in that video, I agree with 100%. Nothing more, nothing less. Because he says like the exact same thing that I did, as far as we don't know who knew what, when, and everybody's putting their assumptions into it, which makes it even worse because we don't know the situations, especially when it comes to somebody's feelings in terms of like an affliction that they're dealing with. You got to be, information. You got to find all the information on it. But at the end of the day, it's not about who was wrong. It's the fact that neither of them were right, and that there are a million scenarios that could have happened besides what it is that happened. But we are in the timeline where Will smacked the shit out of Chris Rock. That's the timeline that we're in.
Yep. So what we need to do is make fan fiction of like
Right.
all the things. I feel like that would be like a top seller movie that would it would sell like a Lifetime movie. All the possible ways this could have happened, and then they just
They're
go
gonna make a new Scream. Not a new Scream, a new scary movie or something like that, and that's gonna be one of the parodies.
Oh no, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. There's gonna be
But I mean like a serious
rapper
drama thing. Though.
there's gonna be
They would not be able to do a serious drama. They
bro.
would not do that. They would only take it to comedy.
They would only take it to comedy, yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the time we live in
No,
until we change it.
Sorry, it would still be comedy, but like the events leading up to it would have to be like an actual, not actual events, but like an actual. This makes sense. Like these things could happen, and then ultimately it's comedy though. It's
Maybe
not like a
SNL. I can see SNL
like
doing
doing a
something.
skit, yeah.
I can see SNL doing something like that, to where if it was just like a rewind, what could have happened,
Or how do we get here? Well,
Right, and then do like a
little did we know that Jada and Chris hated each other since 96. Like, oh.
Right. Yeah, I
This
can
is
see
the
them
final
doing
straw.
it. But other than that,
Yeah,
it
that
would
would
be
be pure
very.
crap. See, now the one thing line that's getting funnier and funnier.
Right? It's like there's no way to make it like super serious.
Right.
I've seen people taking it far. Like I've seen memes where it's just like a picture of Jada, and it's just like, I'm not impressed. Will Tupac would have shot
me.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I see
me.
that,
Yeah. I'm like, dang, man.
And then I remember that they were in a relationship. I
Yeah.
totally forgot.
I saw one that literally just shows like a heel and a wit and a hand and said the entanglement wasn't enough for you. I was like, oh no.
Oh god.
Right.
Oh,
There's
no.
like there's so much to unpack with this.
The Matrix revolves around the Oscars.
It's just like a time loop. It's like Groundhog Day, but it's just like trying to figure out how to get to the other end without this going past Sunday. You know? It's just like what can be done to where this joke doesn't make it past Sunday. And honestly, for me, again, me personally, best case scenario would be Jada owning up to the shit and being like, and I fucking kill that role. And then what would happen? It would be like, Jada wears her alopecia with pride or whatever, and it would inspire other people with alopecia. Right, be the new face of alopecia and other.
Yes.
I mean, that's what they do. That's like when, I was trying to think of another celebrity that has something like what's her name with the eyebrows?
With the eyebrows.
She used to have short hair. She stole Brad Pitt.
Oh,
Angelina Jolie, like Angelina Jolie was with breast cancer.
Yeah.
She got eyebrows.
I would have like done more with the lips. Or with the eyes.
The lips
I don't even remember what her eyebrows look like. Because honestly, when you said eyebrows, I thought of Marsha Cross.
Right.
So I was like,
that's fair.
We were just talking.
The only reason I say that now is because when I look at her nowadays, all I see are her eyebrows.
And I thought Demi Moore.
Why?
I don't know.
That's it. You know what?
God.
That would be an interesting thing to just be like, what's that one celebrity like with the nose?
Right.
And see what people think.
You gotta get drunk first.
Right. Are they thinking Asian? Are they thinking like Adrian Brody because
Oh
he has a
my God.
prominent
Or
nose.
what's his name? Nick something? Nick Kroll?
Oh, Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll, there we
Yeah,
go. Him too?
from,
Right. It's like, or are they thinking Owen Wilson because they know he has
Yes,
the crooked nose?
right.
Like what?
The-
Like when a particular
Dang.
feature is pointed out to you, what makes you think of
Right.
which like celebrity? Like what is it that would do that? Like when you think
That'd be a great
the
game.
celebrity with the eyes, is it because they have really pretty eyes? Are you thinking like
Gosling.
Jesse? What's his name? The black guy that has the green eyes.
Oh, Jesse Williams.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
Jesse
do you
Williams.
think Jesse Williams because his eyes stand out? Are
Or
you
Michael
thinking right? Okay, first of all, Aunt Viv, I feel like she's gonna cheat on Uncle Phil.
What? Oh, okay. I was like, what are you talking?
She
but
gonna
he
do it. He wouldn't be in the show if he wasn't there as a tempter anyway. Or are you thinking Forrest Whitaker because he has right? So it's just like it's interesting. Like if you would have been like, oh, the celebrity with the name whatever
Rough
feature
face.
with the butt,
With the rough face.
with the
rough face. Oh yeah, like Mickey Rourke.
Yes, let's go.
See, and I was
Rourke.
thinking the Irish dude that
Or
has the
for,
two
what's
that has the
his
two
name?
that
scars
was my
right
idea
there.
from Smoking Aces.
Or-
the
Yeah,
last
from
episode.
Smoking Aces.
Or the
Second
one
grade.
that died that has the scar. Michael something.
I can see his face. I
But
can see
it's
his
Michael
face.
something.
I can see his face. I
I
just
forget
don't.
it. But Michael,
I can see
he's
that's gonna
he's
drive me
really
nuts. That's
black,
gonna drive
great
me
actor.
nuts.
Like has a really oh no, you didn't watch
What
it.
is
Never
his
mind.
name?
It's Michael something.
Oh, Michael K. Williams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you.
That's why I was like, he just died recently. I don't know how to.
From
I
The
don't-
Wire.
Yeah.
I can see your
Yeah.
face.
I didn't see it. That's why I was like, I don't know that.
He was
But
in,
or Lawrence Fishburne. Also, he has scars right here. So that's another thing too. Like that would be interesting.
Morgan Freeman has a lot of
the
moles.
Yes. Mhm. That's interesting.
Right. So yeah. So it's interesting, like what people relate to different things, which is proof that everybody's different. Jesus Christ. Anyway, this has gone on for some
But it's
time.
great. It's a good conversation. It's important. People don't have these conversations, so I like the fact that this is kind of a little bit of the transition that we're gonna do, where it's gonna be as things come up instead of like looking for drama.
Right. Because
it's
I
gonna-
was like, sometimes a week goes by and nothing has happened.
Right, but it's
But
gonna
life
be
happens.
well, our lives happen.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's not
the
something
point.
we're gonna talk about on
Right.
here.
Okay.
I mean, unless there's something that just seems to be normal or a repetitive topic that's like, hey, I feel like we should probably talk about this. All right, cool, let's talk about it. Like,
Why do
you
you
know.
suck? No, it's okay.
why do you
Imagine.
suck? I've been thinking about it for a week and I just can't find the reasons.
Imagine.
So audience, tell me, why do I suck?
Bro, what?
Paul!
Imagine you
Paul!
opening yourself up to that scrutiny. Like, oh
I mean,
my
that
God.
can make you really
You would
fucking
just-
powerful,
You
though.
would just have to be like on shades and like shrooms the whole day. Be like, so why do I suck? Oh, then I'm like, I'm gonna write it down. Yeah, I can work on
Right,
this.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, that'd be a good thing
I've
because
got a whiteboard.
nothing lets you
I
know what's wrong with you
move
more than
people
third
who
party.
Right,
Yeah,
and people who are not right here with you.
What else? Yeah.
Right.
I think like after we're very like mature in life, I can do that.
Right.
So why do I suck? I'm like, oh, because you do this. Ooh, you're right. I definitely do it. I definitely do this. I'm doing it now.
Well, that's how I ask y'all when I like start thinking about something, overthinking about something. What happened?
Just because it's like, oh yeah, I do this. I'm doing it right now.
Imagine that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why like I ask you guys when I've spent the time trying to figure out if I'm doing something wrong and I can't figure it out because I'm stuck in between because I'm like, am I being biased right now and I just can't see it? Or is it just because it's not real and this person is just projecting, stuff like that. And that's why I would ask you guys, like, is this something that I should work on? Or am I doing this? Or, like, I just need to know what is happening in my head. Because I've spent the time to figure it out with me, but I feel like me is not working. So I need outside opinions.
She does a lot of, am I crazy for this?
Right.
Kind of conversation.
Right, I need to. Just because I understand as a human, because of my life experience, I probably have a pretty limited, perception. I do try to see all perceptions, but I can't pinpoint everything. And I know that that's something I am incapable of doing because I haven't experienced every little thing in life. So for other people, if they can see something else that I cannot, I would love to know, because I'm trying to grow and be better every single day. And the only way I can do that is to have vulnerable, raw moments with people that are the closest to me and see what I do that I may not see myself. And that's important. You have to have people around you that will tell you when you're doing something wrong. You have to. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck, and the people around you are also going to stay stuck.
That part.
Or they're going to move up and leave you there.
Oof, that's the worst.
Right. Because they enabled you to do your shit, and they let you deal with the consequences instead of them being there to deal with it with you, because they allowed you to do that shit, knowing that they saw that it was fucked up. And that's why we lose friends. Because when we are honest, they can't take it. Just saying.
Oh, the life we've led in less than a year.
We have, woo, it's been fun.
It's tough.
I will say though, low key, everything that's happened, I've like looked back and been like, you know what? I wouldn't be able to picture where you would fit into my life now because of who you are and continue to choose to be.
Oof,
like you would not have been able to survive. Even if I tried to keep you, you would have fell off yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually saved you that heartbreak.
Right. It's like better to be left behind now because you feel like and you can like satiate however you feel about it, and you know you say it was my decision than to you to have to let go because you weren't strong enough to keep hanging on.
Right. You weren't willing to grow enough to stick around.
I'd rather you walk away than to waste away when the wings come out, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Shit. Man. It's been a beautiful year.
That needs to be rather you walk away than to waste away.
Right, because wasting away, that's going to hurt you more. That's going to hurt your ego a lot more. I'd rather you keep your ego and leave. That's fine. Hold on to that, because you're going to need that. Man. Woo! It's been a beautiful year.
It's almost been a full year, y'all.
A full year. One more month.
What are we going to do for our 1 year? We've got to celebrate. We have to, somehow.
If this hole is filled, trip.
Yes.
Okay, where? Oh, trip, yes.
But I love that that's your go-to now. I love that that's your go-to now.
Thank you so much.
It's like, trip, where?
I appreciate that. Honestly, I didn't have the money, but I was like, yeah, I'm down.
Like, I love that that's your go-to now.
You,
like,
that's growth.
where are we
I'm
going?
gonna cry about this later, but that's growth for me, y'all. Y'all have no fucking idea. Like, I have not been able to imagine myself to do anything other than like survive for so long in my life. So I'm so glad now that I'm just like, yes, I can do more. I'm broke, but that's just a matter of putting more money into the account, right?
You working?
That's just putting money into the account. That's it. Boom.
Right.
So yep.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm excited that I can like actually feel like, oh
I
yeah.
love that. He said weird. La La Land.
Right.
I'm with it. I'm yeah. Let's do
I'll be like, yo, Mexico? No, they doing weird shit over there right now. Vegas.
Something.
Oh no, I would not be able to do. Wait, are we talking about
a trip in Vegas?
Trip?
No, 2.
Okay.
Oh, trip to Vegas.
2.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, nope, would not be. I would be in the room.
No. We'd have to be in the room. No.
I could not. That is a lot of energy.
Because it's gonna be really freaking
the
hot.
only outside place I would go to is the place I've already gone to,
Right.
and that is it. Just because it's more private, and people just.
It was just like
people are partying up there, so they do not give a fuck what you're doing.
We just all need chaperones. Like that's basically what it is.
I would need 3.
Yeah, in Vegas,
I'd be dipping in because when I'm drunk, I already be dipping and dodging people. So I was like, I need 3 chaperones.
Dead.
But no, I meant to Vegas. But yes, so yay! Thanks guys for tuning in.
Heck yeah. Do we have any last minute comments from anybody? Comments or questions?
YouTube.
Yeah, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Any last minute comments on this situation? Because honestly, this is the last time I'm talking about it.
Right. That's what the point of this conversation was the end of all conversations. So we don't even talk about it anymore.
Word. Well, I'm gonna let it rock for a little bit while you guys are trying to get your final thoughts and words together. It's 1:27. You got 3 minutes. What? I'm being real. What?
Yo, because I'm getting hungry. It's time for second
Right,
breakfast.
I gotta eat lunch. I don't know what I'm gonna eat. Shoot.
I mean, I guess you can call that lunch.
Yeah.
I'm calling it second breakfast.
It's
Sure, of
afternoon.
Hey, you can go whatever you want.
I'll be back later for K Drama Live on Twitch. Awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
huh?
Oh, yes.
Still nervous.
Yeah, on the
Yay! I'm excited.
on the AQM Twitch in an hour and a half, 3 to 7, we're gonna be doing the Island and Stronger Bone Soon episode 10 of both of them, and then from 7 to since
9:30.
I was about to say since we're only doing one of them, it won't be as
For
long.
8:30.
We're gonna be doing Vincenzo. I will throw the live from AQM to your live. For Vincenzo.
Woo! Excited. It'll be nice.
At
to
7.
see. Yes.
Mhm.
Boom.
CCC.
So
Yep.
yeah, busy day for us.
Busy day.
Yeah.
Busy day, filled day. What's ONG?
Oh my god. Oh.
Oh, maybe because it's right by each other, so maybe it's supposed
Probably.
to be it.
That part.
Me too. Okay, yeah. So
Yay!
see you guys later. Literally.
Boom. Oh, and while you're on Twitch, I'm going to rate the channel as always. You know what it is. Gotta let people know that we're here. There's only one person live, so we're rating. Tell Nolan and Terry I said what's up.
Love y'all.
Thank you, Twitch. Thank you, Twitter. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, whoever else is involved in coming here for today. It's been a great conversation. Let's do more.